Morning. This is a special edition of Nuggets, in case you just tuned in. We got Rick Curtis in. He's a guy from Fort Wayne who has spent a lot of time all over the United States, actually. He's a songwriter, did Southern Cross, and also did Blue Letter, which was covered by Fleetwood Mac. You heard both versions of that this morning. You got your own version of Southern Cross hidden away somewhere?
Well, we do it down at Mother's. We'll be doing it down there this coming weekend.
All right.
After Christmas. And,
the weekend after Christmas.
So please come down if you're into it.
All right. You were telling me about Naz. You've got so many stories. I know you don't know where to start or which ones to pick.
Yeah, Naz was a very big group. Todd Rundgren, and that was his first band, and we ended up with a guy who played drums with him, Tom Mooney, and Tom, who is probably one of the most exceptional drummers in the United States, style-wise, and which is a blend of English and American drumming, I guess. And we were lucky we got him because he augmented our career and our music design trip that we were into, and Rundgren lost him, unfortunately. But their group was so big, I mean, that there was much money wrapped around them that they had a rough time getting out. I mean, they had to take bodyguards with them when they went to the store and stuff like that. You know,
really?
Yeah, and it's So it was a pretty heavy trip, very limiting musically, and we were really glad to have him. He stayed with us for almost 10 years, and we'll probably do some more playing with him eventually.
Whoa.
Hopefully we will.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Philadelphia. That's where those guys were all from.
What, Naz?
Yeah, some of them were. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Huh. God, what other stories do you have for us? Are there any... God, you've just got so much that I really don't know where to...
Let's see.
Where to start.
Yeah, you run into people when you're in a place like Hollywood or New York. You know, you just run into a lot of different people, and it is pretty awesome to me. I mean, being from Goshen, you know, I never forget that I'm from Goshen or Fort Wayne, and you know, when you're out there running around, that's your roots. You know, that keeps you together in a wild and zany world.
Now, you've been to New York, you've been to L.A., and you're back in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, and
you going to stay here this time?
Yeah, we are. I'm gonna definitely get a house, hopefully in the next year, and as soon as I can find a good place. And
what draws you back to Fort Wayne?
Well, after knocking around for years, the people, and a lot of good old friends and wonderful people who've helped me through my life, and which has not been an easy life. And not that everybody's got it rough, you know, but I definitely went through some things that I don't think most people would go through, and the people here who are responsible for my education also, who I wanted to be close to them, and you know, Fort Wayne's not really, these days, Fort Wayne's not any farther from Tokyo than any other place, so it's...
That's true.
It's really a cosmopolitan city, and it always has been. You know, it's always been a brilliant place where there are a lot of brilliant people, and I don't use that word loosely. You know who you are. And it's really great. A lot of music and culture, and God, it's just a pleasure to be here.
What about some of the, and less hype in Fort Wayne, it seems? You know, less of the Hollywood situation to deal with.
Oh, it's wonderful, yeah. It's really great. It's a lot easier going, even though it's a big city.
You were telling me once when you were with, was it with Crazy Horse, that you played Maui?
Yeah, we played Hawaii, yeah.
And they treated you like kings there?
Yeah, it was fantastic. They met us with 3 yellow Volkswagens, and each yellow Volkswagen had 2 blonde girls driving, you know. It was like a dream, you know. You just don't, after you crunched around in the world for a while, you don't expect to see things like that.
And then what, they had a prince come out or something?
A royal Hawaiian prince met us on the plane with cameras and well, a lot of other things.
Yeah.
And in a business suit, you know, tailored, looked like it cost $1,000 business suit, you know, and a 4-foot-long hair, you know, with ivory rings around it. And we went with him, and that was the last thing I remember. No.
And then the next night?
The next night we were in Idaho or somewhere playing at a high school gym, in a concert. We flipped around a lot like that. It was pretty wild.
Whoa.
A real challenge. It was a lot of fun. It's great when you have a chance to bounce around a lot and see how good you are, you know.
What are some of the acts you've played with over the years?
Oh, let's see. The ones I remember, I really remember, Bruce Springsteen and let's see, well, Jimi Hendrix, and that was really great. And the Mothers of Invention, who the original group was really a funny group. They were a very humorous bunch of guys, and that was a really neat incarnation.
Did you get to talk to Zappa? What was that with?
I didn't even try to talk to Zappa.
Really?
I went for the guys with the smiles on their faces. You know.
Frank frowns a lot, doesn't
Really.
he? He definitely does. That was back with who, Garcia? They had, God, not Garcia.
I could say
The
Frank.
guy who started Little Feat years ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I knew Richie Hayward in Little Feat, one of the drummers.
Yeah, he was
And,
with Fraternity of Man at one time, too. Did Don't Bogart that.
Yeah, that was a great group.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah, yeah, that was a great thing out there. Great bunch of people.
Was that in the Los Angeles days? Where were you actually based, in L.A.? Or?
Yeah, we lived in L.A. for about 10 years, and then I finally just got the urge to move, you know, and be around my kids, and of course now Kathy and I live here. We're expecting a baby, and
All
that's
right.
really great. I'm glad finally to be in a place where there are a lot of children. You know, it's you don't see many children in California. I mean, it's like
Lots of Mercedes.
They stay in their neighborhoods. Yeah, it's mostly singles night. You know, singles night all night.
And those California parties, huh?
Yeah, so it's great to be around some family people, and
Yeah, that's good.
It does blend with the rock and roll
Now,
world.
you used to drink, right?
I
You
used to
said
drink, yes.
You drank for 20 years.
20 years.
That's
Yeah.
a big part of the music business. It's hard to get away from that.
It is hard. It's very difficult, and you do have to take a vacation if you want to quit. You have to get away from all the, you know, all the craziness,
All the
and
pressures.
and the pressures and the people, and then you can come back to it. It's a little bit, if you do. Some people get away from alcohol, and they don't want to be anywhere near anything that was associated with it, you know, like music or the music business.
Yeah.
So they drop out, but it just made me, you know, more intensely into it. I think it was
Yeah.
more
You're-
controlled, you know.
You're telling me you got to meet Jimmy Miller.
Yeah, Jimmy Miller.
Now, he produced that Traffic track
Yeah.
that we heard there, Dear Mr. Fantasy.
Yeah.
He also worked with who, the Rolling Stones?
Yeah, Beggar's Banquet, and he produced Blind Faith, and he was an American in England. He was not an ugly American. He was an American who made those guys a lot of money.
He did Beggar's Banquet for the Rolling Stones when he was,
Yeah.
what, you said 24 years old?
24 years old, and he got hooked on heroin, and came to the States, and he really was unhappy back in the States. That's when I met him, and he ended up back in England, where most of his friends were, because it's more international over there,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of provincial, I guess, in that way.
You're not going to move to England?
Excuse me. No, I don't think so. I already know some people from England who are living in Los Angeles who say, you know, don't go there. It took us years to get out, you know.
All right. It's 11:47 in the morning. We were talking about Nas a little while ago, and you played with the drummer from Nas. What's his
Yeah.
name? Tom
Tom
Mooney?
Mooney, yeah,
Tom
he was
Mooney. All right. Well,
18 years old on this record,
and they had to have bodyguards protect them
from themselves.
just so they could get... That's what they really... Well, Belushi had a bodyguard.
Yeah,
Protected him from himself.
a
didn't-
slave contract is what they used to call it
Yeah.
in the old days.
That's amazing. 11:47. This is Nas on Rock 104.